I ain't one for spilling my guts online, but every December when folks start posting their cozy family photos, I get this knot in my chest. My family's never been the picture-perfect type. We do things our own way, and I've always been the odd man out. Too loud, too stubborn, or just not what they wanted. I never fit the mold. This story's been eating at me for years, and I'm done keeping it bottled up. It's about the Christmas that made it crystal clear I wasn't really part of the family. Never told anyone the whole deal, but here goes. There's 5 of us kids. Me, Caleb, the second oldest at 15, my big brother Ethan, 17, my younger sister Lily, 13, and the twins, Noah and Emma, both 10. Mom, Deborah, runs the show. She's got to be the star of every room, always stealing the spotlight if it drifts. She used to say I was like her uncle, who she couldn't stand, so I guess that set the tone. Dad, Robert, just goes along to keep the peace. Ethan's the golden child, can do no wrong. Lily's the princess, and the twins are the babies, so they get all the coddling. Me? I'm just there, fading into the background. It was a couple weeks before Christmas. I overheard Mom on the phone late at night, all excited about some vacation deal. Didn't think much of it. Her bragging's nothing new. But at breakfast, she drops this bomb. We're shaking things up this year. We're going to a ski resort for Christmas. She's looking at Ethan like he's supposed to cheer. Nobody looks my way. I pipe up. Sounds fun. When do we leave? Mom gives me this look, like I just tracked mud on her carpet. Caleb, you're not coming. The cabin's only got 6 beds. You'll be fine here for a week. You're old enough. I'm 15, mind you. Ethan's 17, and he gets a bed. I say, can't I take a cot or something? I'll sleep on the floor. She snorts. What? You want us to rent a whole extra cabin for you? Then she's back to her coffee, like I'm a fly she swatted. Dad's just chewing his toast, avoiding eye contact. Lily's scrolling her tablet. Noah says, can't Caleb stay with Aunt June? But Aunt June's in Arizona for the winter. Mom shuts it down. No, Caleb can handle himself. She says it like I should be proud. Ethan stays quiet. Emma's playing with her cereal. I'm just sitting there, waiting for someone to say something, anything. But it's dead silent. That silence stuck with me more than her words. It was like they all agreed. Caleb's not a big deal. The next week was rough. Mom's packing, making lists, telling everyone else what to bring. I keep hoping she'll change her mind, or Dad'll step up. No dice. I try talking to Dad, asking if they can call the resort, see if there's room. He just sighs. Your mom's got this planned, Caleb. I'm not stirring the pot. I storm to my room, slam the door, and kick my chair. Sounds childish, but that's where I was. The morning they leave, it's barely dawn. I'm in the kitchen, making a sandwich I don't even want. Mom comes in, drops her duffel bag, and hands me a crumpled $20 bill. Don't trash the place, she says, half laughing. Ethan's got his earbuds in. Lily's fixing her hair in a mirror. The twins are hyped, running around. Nobody looks at me. Mom says, you know where the food is. Call if you need us, but try not to. I ask if they'll be back for Christmas Day. She laughs. It'll be more fun without your attitude. I bite my tongue. She grabs her bag, bumps my leg with it, doesn't apologize. Ethan gives me a half shrug. Lily mutters, sorry, Caleb, but it's hollow. Noah hugs me quick, but Mom's yelling they're late. Dad's honking outside. They pile into the van, Mom's laughter echoing as they drive off. The house feels like a cave after they're gone. I wander around, play some video games, scroll my phone. I keep thinking they'll call to check in. Nothing. Not that day, not Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. I eat cereal for dinner, sitting at the empty table, listening to the radiator hum. Every car that passes, I think it's them, but it never is. Christmas morning, I open the one gift Mom left, a pack of plain black socks, not even my style. There's a card. Maybe next year you'll lighten up. I toss it in the trash. I text Ethan, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a blast. No reply. I check social media and see a photo of them on the slopes, all grins. It's got tons of likes. Someone comments, where's Caleb? Mom replies, Caleb's doing his own thing. I don't bother responding. They roll back a few days later, all loud and sunburned. Mom's raving about the resort food. Lily's whining about her lost gloves. Ethan's showing off ski lift selfies. The twins are bickering over souvenirs. I'm in the hallway, arms crossed. Mom sees me, says, oh, you're alive. I snap, thanks for checking in. She rolls her eyes. Don't start, Caleb. Nobody needs the drama. Dad tries to pat my arm. I dodge it. Ethan says nothing. Lily asks if I watered her plants. I walk away. That night, I overhear Mom and Dad in the kitchen. She's saying, why does Caleb always make it hard? He could have enjoyed the quiet. Dad mumbles, maybe we should have brought him. He's still a kid. Mom snaps, he's always been trouble. You know that. I slam my door and don't talk to them for the rest of the break. Ethan tries to get me to game with him. I ignore him. Lily leaves a note about her charger. The twins ask me to play, but Mom says I should stay in. That Christmas made it clear. I'm not family, not really. I start planning to get out as soon as I can. This is just the start. It gets messier from here. After that Christmas, things didn't just go back to normal. The air in the house felt heavy, like everyone was tiptoeing around what happened, but nobody wanted to say it out loud. I was done pretending I was part of the family picture. I'd always known I was the odd one out, but getting left behind for a whole holiday? That was the moment I stopped caring. My name's Caleb, and this is how I started pulling away for good. Mom, Deborah, kept acting like nothing happened. She'd go on about her plans, her friends, her life, like I was just a piece of furniture. Dad, Robert, stayed quiet, as usual, avoiding any real talk. Ethan, my older brother, was still the king of the house, always getting the best of everything. Lily, my younger sister, floated through, glued to her phone, only caring when it suited her. The twins, Noah and Emma, were too young to get it, but even they started treating me like I wasn't there half the time. I was just the guy in the corner, not worth the effort. The weeks after they got back were brutal. Dinner was the worst, everyone acting normal, passing the potatoes, while I sat there feeling like a ghost. Ethan tried to act buddy-buddy, asking me to play basketball in the driveway like we used to. I'd just shrug and say I was busy. When I mentioned the ski trip, he'd mumble, "Talk to Mom, man." I didn't plan it, so I stopped bringing it up. I didn't want to hear his excuses anymore. I started staying out of the house as much as I could. I'd hang at the local arcade or crash at my buddy Mike's place. I didn't tell anyone what went down over Christmas. It's hard to explain to people that your family ditched you for a week and didn't even call. They either don't believe you or they start making excuses for your parents, like, "Oh, they were just stressed." So I kept it to myself. It was easier that way. The first time I really pushed back was a few months later, around spring. Mom was all hyped about a family camping trip. She's listing off who's going. Ethan, Lily, Noah, Emma, her, and Dad. My name's nowhere on the list. I wait till she's done, then say, "So, am I invited this time?" She gets this annoyed look and says, "Caleb, don't make everything about you." Dad mutters something and heads to the garage. I'm standing there, feeling my face get hot. "All right," I say. "I'm done asking." That was it. I decided right then I wasn't begging for a spot in their plans anymore. I started spending hours at the arcade, saving up quarters from odd jobs like mowing lawns. I'd come home late, grab a sandwich, and head to my room. Mom noticed and started griping, saying stuff like, "You gonna eat all my food and just sleep here for free?" One night, I lost it. "You left me alone for Christmas," I shot back. Maybe I should just leave for good. Her face went tight, and she smacked me across the cheek. I just stared at her, not even blinking. She stormed off, slamming a cabinet. That was the moment I knew I couldn't expect anything from her, or any of them. I started stashing every dollar I could. Birthday cash, money from raking leaves, anything. I kept it in a sock under my mattress, old school style. I wasn't just saving for fun, I was saving to get out. I started sleeping with my wallet in my pillowcase, not because I thought they'd steal it, but because I didn't trust them not to pull something. When your own mom leaves you behind for a holiday and acts like it's no big deal, you start thinking worst-case scenario. Ethan never really had my back. I think he liked being the favorite, the one Mom bragged about to her friends. Lily would act like she cared sometimes, but only if it didn't mess with her vibe. Like, she'd ask me to fix her phone, but if I brought up the ski trip, she'd change the subject. The twins were still kids, but even they stopped asking me to play games after Mom snapped at them for bothering me. It was like the whole house had decided I was the problem, and they were better off without me. Mom started talking about me like I wasn't even there. I overheard her on the phone with her sister, Aunt June, saying, "Caleb's so hard to deal with. He's always sulking, never happy." I wanted to yell, "Maybe because you ditched me," but I didn't. Dad would try to smooth things over, saying, "Your mom's got a lot on her plate, Caleb." I'd just walk away. I was done listening to his weak excuses. By summer, I was barely home. I'd eat cereal at midnight, leave before anyone woke up, and crash wherever I could. I stopped expecting invites to family stuff. When Mom planned a barbecue and didn't mention me, I didn't even ask. I just grabbed my skateboard and left. I was done being the kid who didn't matter. I started thinking about the day I could walk out for good. No big fight, no dramatic scene, just me leaving them behind like they left me. When I finally did leave, years later, it wasn't some Hollywood moment. I packed a duffel bag, hugged the twins, left a note for Lily, and walked out. Mom tried to guilt me, saying I was throwing away everything she'd done for me. I looked her in the eye and said, "You left me alone for Christmas." What else is there to say? She called me ungrateful. I didn't look back. Ethan texted me a week later, asking if he could borrow my old jacket. I didn't reply. That was just the beginning. Things got weirder, and I wasn't done making sure they knew I was no longer their backup plan. Stick around, this gets wilder. I'm Caleb, and if you've been following along, you know my family made it pretty clear I was never their priority. That Christmas they left me behind was just the start. After that, I stopped trying to fit into their world. I was done being the kid they could ignore until they needed something. This chapter's about how I started building walls, setting boundaries, and making sure they felt what it's like to lose me. It wasn't pretty, but it was necessary. Life at home after the ski trip was like living in a house full of strangers. Mom, Deborah, kept up her act, always the center of attention, planning family outings I wasn't invited to. Dad, Robert, stayed out of it, tinkering in the garage to avoid the tension. Ethan, my older brother, was still the golden boy, soaking up all the praise. Lily, my younger sister, was too busy with her social media to care. The twins, Noah and Emma, were caught up in their own kid world, and Mom made sure they didn't get too close to me. I was the odd man out, and I was sick of it. I started avoiding family time altogether. I'd eat late, slip out early, and spend my days at the arcade or with my friend Mike. Ethan tried to pull me back in, acting like we were still buddies. He'd say, "Come on, Caleb, let's shoot hoops." I'd brush him off. One time, I flat out asked why he didn't say anything when Mom left me behind. He shrugged and said, "It's Mom's call, not mine." That was it. I stopped expecting him to have my back. Mom kept acting like I was the problem. She'd tell her friends I was difficult or too independent, like it was my fault they ditched me. I overheard her talking to Aunt June, saying, "Caleb's always stirring things up. I wish he'd just act normal like Ethan." I wanted to barge in and yell, but I didn't. Instead, I started planning my escape. I kept saving every penny cash from mowing lawns, shoveling driveways, whatever I could get. I wasn't just saving for a new game or sneakers. I was saving to get out of that house for good. The first real boundary I set was a few months later, around Easter. Mom was going on about a family beach trip. She's naming everyone who's going: Ethan, Lily, Noah, Emma, her, and Dad. I'm not mentioned. I wait till she's done, then say, "So, I'm guessing I'm staying home again?" She sighs, like I'm exhausting her. "Caleb, we can't always make room for everyone." Dad looks at his plate. Ethan's silent. Lily's on her phone. The twins glance at me, but Mom changes the subject. I say, "Fine. Don't expect me to care about your plans anymore." I grab my jacket and leave. That was the moment I stopped asking to be included. Things got tense after that. Mom started picking fights over little stuff, like me eating her food or leaving dishes in the sink. One night, she snapped, "You think you can just live here for free?" I fired back, "You left me alone for a whole week. What's your problem?" Her face went red, and she threw a dish towel at me. I didn't flinch. She stormed out, muttering about how ungrateful I was. Dad tried to talk to me later, saying, "Your mom's stressed, Caleb. Cut her some slack." I just walked away. I was done with his excuses. I started locking down my life. I kept my doors shut, my stuff hidden. I even started carrying my cash in my pocket instead of leaving it in my room. It wasn't that I thought they'd steal it, but I didn't trust them not to mess with me. When your family leaves you behind for Christmas and laughs it off, you start expecting the worst. I stopped sharing anything personal. If Mom asked where I'd been, I'd say, "Out." If Ethan wanted to know what I was up to, I'd shrug. Lily would ask for help with her homework, and I'd tell her to figure it out. The twins stopped coming to me for games or stories, probably because Mom told them I was too busy. By the next school year, I was barely part of the family. I'd show up for meals when I had to, but I kept my head down. Mom started telling people I was rebellious, like I was some delinquent. She'd say it right in front of me, like I wasn't there. One time, she was on the phone with a neighbor, saying, "Caleb's just so hard to handle. He's not like the others." I wanted to scream, "Maybe because you treat me like garbage." But I didn't. I just kept my eyes on my exit plan. When I finally left home, it wasn't a big scene. I was 18, had enough saved to rent a room with Mike. I packed my clothes, left a note for the twins, and walked out. Mom tried to guilt me, saying I was abandoning the family. I looked at her and said, "You abandoned me first. Christmas, remember?" She called me selfish. I didn't argue. Ethan texted me a few days later, asking if I'd left my old headphones. I didn't reply. Lily sent a message about her laptop charger. I ignored it. The twins didn't reach out, and I didn't expect them to. After I moved out, they started acting like I owed them something. Mom would call, asking me to fix her computer or drive the twins somewhere. I'd say I was busy. Ethan wanted me to help him move furniture. I told him to hire someone. Lily asked for gas money. I said no. They didn't like that. Mom started leaving voicemails, saying, "We're still your family, Caleb." I delete them. I was done being their backup plan. But things were about to get messy, eh? They hadn't seen the half of it yet. Stick around, you'll see how I made sure they knew I was gone for good. I'm Caleb, and by now you know my family never saw me as one of them. That Christmas they ditched me was the wake-up call, but it wasn't just about walking away. I wanted them to feel what it's like to be left out, to need someone and have them say, "Nah, figure it out." This chapter is about how I started flipping the script, making sure Mom, Dad, Ethan, Lily, and the twins understood I wasn't their doormat anymore. It's messy, but man, it felt good. After I moved out, I thought they'd leave me alone. Wrong. Mom, Deborah, kept calling, acting like I was still on call for her errands. She'd leave messages. "Caleb, I need you to pick up the twins from school," or "Can you fix my printer?" I'd let them go to voicemail and delete them. Ethan, my older brother, would text, asking to borrow stuff, like my toolbox or cash for gas. I'd reply, "Get your own." Lily, my younger sister, hit me up for help with her car payment once. I said, "Not my problem." The twins, Noah and Emma, didn't reach out much, but Mom would use them as bait, saying, "They miss you, Caleb." I didn't bite. Things got weirder when Mom started having money troubles. She'd always spent like she was rich, new clothes, fancy dinners, you name it. But Dad, Robert, lost his job, and their savings took a hit. Suddenly, they were scrambling. Mom started texting me, asking if I could help out the family. I'd laugh and ignore her. One time, she called, saying, "Caleb, we're in a bind. Can you loan us a few hundred?" I texted back, "Remember when you left me alone for Christmas? I'm broke too." She didn't reply. Ethan tried to play the big brother card. He called, saying, "Mom's really struggling, man. You gotta step up." I shot back, "Where were you when I was eating cereal alone for a week? Step up yourself." He got mad, called me selfish, and hung up. Lily went for the emotional angle, texting me, "I'm worried about mom and dad. Can't you help?" I replied, "Ask mom why she thought I didn't need a family at 15. She stopped texting. Dad stayed quiet, as usual, but I heard from Mike's mom that he was telling people I'd turned my back on them. Funny how they rewrite the story. I started getting petty, and I ain't ashamed to admit it. Mom had this family group chat for holiday plans, birthdays, all that. I was still in it, mostly ignored. One day, she sent a photo of them at a barbecue, same old smiles, no spot for me. Caption read, "Wish Caleb could make it." I replied, "Funny, I wasn't invited. Don't fake it." Then I left the chat. Ethan tried to add me back. I blocked the invite. It felt good to shut that door. Then there was the storage unit. We had one for old family stuff, furniture, photo albums, junk like that. It was in my name because I'd gotten a discount through a job I had. They'd been using it for years without paying me back. I changed the access code, moved my stuff out, and sent them a text. "You got 30 days to get your crap, or it's gone. Also, pay me the $200 you owe for the last year." Mom lost it, called me screaming about how I was stealing from the family. I said, "Pay up or lose it." Ethan showed up at my apartment, banging on the door. I told him to leave or I'd call the cops. He backed off. A week later, Mom sent the money with a note. "Family doesn't do this, Caleb." I wrote back, "Family doesn't ditch their kid either." I kept tightening the screws. When Ethan's car broke down, he called at midnight, stuck on the side of the road. I answered, said, "Call Lily," and hung up. Lily asked me to help her file taxes. I told her, "Google it." Mom tried dropping by my place unannounced, yelling in the hallway about how I was breaking her heart. My neighbor poked his head out, and she got embarrassed and left. I started locking down everything, changed my phone number, blocked them on social media, even switched my email so they couldn't spam me. The pushback got intense. Ethan started telling mutual friends I was acting crazy, but I didn't care. Lily called, crying, saying she couldn't afford her phone bill and Mom wouldn't help. I said, "Sell something. I'm not your bank." She called me a jerk and hung up. The twins sent me a card once, saying they missed me. I didn't respond. Mom probably made them do it. Dad finally called, leaving a voicemail, "Caleb, you're hurting your mother. Can't we talk?" I deleted it. They only wanted me when I was useful. Otherwise, I was invisible. The real kicker came when Mom tried to borrow money for a medical bill. She sent this long text about how she was sick and needed my help. I didn't buy it. I replied, "You left me behind when I was 15. Handle it like I did." She called, screaming that I was cruel. I hung up and blocked her again. Ethan texted, saying I'd regret it if something happened to her. I replied, "I regret a lot, but not this." He didn't write back. I wasn't just saying no, I was making sure they felt the sting. Every time they reached out, I reminded them of that Christmas. Every time they asked for help, I turned it around. I wasn't their fixer anymore, and they hated it. Friends started noticing I wasn't at family events. Mom would make excuses, but people could tell something was off. Ethan's birthday came, and nobody showed up because I wasn't there to rally folks. Lily lost some friends after I told them the truth about how she treated me. The twins stopped mentioning me. They were stuck with each other now, no scapegoat to lean on. This wasn't the end, though. I was just getting started. They thought they could keep using me forever, but I had plans to make sure they learned their lesson for good. Things were about to get real, and I wasn't holding back. Keep listening. This ride's only getting wilder. I'm Caleb, and if you stuck with me this far, you know I wasn't just walking away from my family. I was making sure they felt the same kind of hurt they dished out when they left me behind at Christmas. Mom, Dad, Ethan, Lily, and the twins thought they could keep treating me like a spare part, only useful when they needed a favor. I was done with that. This chapter is about how I turned up the heat, hitting them where it stung most. It's not pretty, but it's real. By now, I'd moved out, got my own place, and cut off most contact. But Mom, Deborah, wouldn't let go. She'd send texts, acting like we were still close, asking me to help with bills or drive her to appointments. I'd reply, "Not my job," or just ignore her. Ethan, my older brother, kept trying to borrow stuff, money, tools, even my old bike. I told him to buy his own. Lily, my younger sister, would call, whining about her latest drama, expecting me to bail her out. I'd say, "Handle it." The twins, Noah and Emma, were too young to get involved, but Mom used them as pawns, saying they needed me. I didn't fall for it. Their money problems were getting worse. Mom had always lived beyond her means, new furniture, vacations, all that. But with Dad, Robert, out of work, and their savings gone, they were in deep. Mom started leaning on me harder, sending messages like, "Caleb, we're family. You have to help us." I'd text back, "Funny how I'm family now. Where was that at Christmas?" She'd call, yelling that I was heartless. I'd hang up. Ethan tried guilt-tripping me, saying, "Mom's falling apart because of you." I shot back. She fell apart when she ditched me at 15. Your turn to deal. Lily went for tears, saying she was scared for the family. I replied, ask Mom why she left me to fend for myself. Dad stayed silent, but I heard he was telling neighbors I'd abandoned them. Classic. I started playing hardball. There was this old family savings account Mom used for emergencies. My name was still on it from when I was a kid. I went to the bank, took my name off, and let Mom deal with the fallout. She freaked, sent me a dozen texts about how I was sabotaging her. I replied, pay your own bills. Then there was the family cloud drive with all our photos and documents. I was the one who set it up, so I had admin access. I locked them out, changed the password, and downloaded my stuff. Mom called, screaming that I was erasing their memories. I said, you erased me first. The group chat was another sore spot. Mom used it to plan everything, holidays, dinners, you name it. I'd already left once, but Ethan kept trying to pull me back in. One day, Mom sent a photo of them at a lake house, all smiling, with a caption, missing Caleb. I texted, don't lie. You didn't invite me. Then I blocked the whole chat. Lily tried to call, saying I was overreacting. I told her, I'm done with the fake family act. Ethan showed up at my place, banging on the door, saying I was making Mom cry. I said, leave, or I'm calling the cops. He stormed off, calling me a jerk. The storage unit was my next move. It was still in my name, full of family junk they never paid for. I sent them a final notice, get your stuff in 2 weeks, or it's gone. Also, pay the $300 you owe. Mom lost it, called me a thief. Ethan texted, saying I was tearing the family apart. Lily tried to sweet-talk me, saying she'd pay half if I let it slide. I said, full amount, or it's trash. They scraped together the money, but Mom left a voicemail, you're no son of mine. I saved it, just to remind myself who she really was. I kept pushing. When Lily's car got towed, she begged me for a loan. I said, walk. Ethan needed help moving again. I told him to rent a truck. Mom tried crashing my place, yelling in the parking lot about how I was killing her. My landlord threatened to call security, and she left, red-faced. I changed my locks after that. I even stopped going to family friends' events, barbecues, birthdays, all that. People started asking Mom why I wasn't around. She'd make up stories, but folks weren't buying it. The big one came when Ethan tried to use my name for a loan. I got a letter from a bank about a credit application I never made. I called him furious. He played dumb, then said, you never answer, so I figured it was fine. I told him, do it again, and I'll make sure you regret it. He hung up. I checked my credit, locked it down, and reported the attempt. Mom called, screaming that I was ruining Ethan's life. I said, he ruined mine when he let you ditch me. She hung up. I wasn't just saying no, I was making them feel the weight of their choices. Every time they reached out, I brought up that Christmas. Every favor they asked, I turned into a reminder. They hated it, but I didn't care. Mom's friends stopped inviting her to stuff because I told them the truth. Ethan's buddies ditched him when I stopped showing up to his parties. Lily's social media got quiet after I called her out online. The twins were too young to understand, but even they stopped asking about me. This wasn't the endgame, though. I had one more card to play, something that had hit them where it really hurt. They thought they could keep pushing, but I was ready to make them see what it's like to lose everything. Stay tuned. This is about to get real intense. I'm Caleb, and by now you know I was done being my family's fallback guy. That Christmas they left me behind at 15 set the stage, but I wasn't just cutting ties, I was making sure Mom, Dad, Ethan, Lily, and the twins felt the sting of losing me. They thought they could keep using me, but I was ready to pull the plug for good. This chapter is about the moment they pushed me too far, and I decided it was time to end the game. Mom, Deborah, was still acting like I owed her something. She'd send texts, demanding I help with bills or show up for family events. I'd ignore them or reply, not my problem. Ethan, my older brother, kept trying to guilt me, saying I was breaking the family. I'd shoot back, you broke it when you left me alone. Lily, my younger sister, played the victim, crying about how hard things were. I'd say you didn't care when I was eating cereal for Christmas. The twins, Noah and Emma, were mostly out of the loop, but Mom used their names to tug at my heart. It didn't work. Their money troubles were spiraling. Dad, Robert, couldn't find steady work, and Mom's spending had drained him dry. They started selling off stuff, furniture, jewelry, even Dad's old truck. Mom kept calling, asking me to chip in for the family. I'd laugh and say, figure it out, like I did at 15. One night, she left a voicemail, sobbing, saying she was sick and needed my help. I didn't buy it. I texted, you left me behind. I'm not your bank. She called back, screaming that I was cruel. I blocked her number. Ethan tried to play peacemaker, showing up at my apartment with a six-pack, acting like we could talk it out. I let him in, but when he started saying I should let it go, I cut him off. You let me go when you didn't say a word about that Christmas. He got mad, threw a beer can at my wall, and stormed out. I cleaned up and changed my locks. Lily texted, begging for a loan to cover her rent. I replied, sell your phone. She called me heartless and blocked me. Dad sent a letter, handwritten, old school, saying I was tearing the family apart. I tore it up. The final straw came when Mom tried to sell my grandparents' old cabin. It was the last big thing the family owned, left to all the kids in their will. She needed my signature to sell it, since my name was on the deed. She sent an email through some shady online lawyer, all formal. Please sign to release the property. I laughed. Suddenly, I'm family when there's money involved? I didn't respond. Ethan called, leaving voicemails about how I was ruining everything. Mom texted, saying, "You're killing me, Caleb." I ignored them. Then Ethan crossed a line. I got a notice from a credit agency about a loan application in my name. It had his address on it. I called him, furious. He tried to play it off, saying, "I thought you wouldn't mind, since you're doing okay." I told him, "Use my name again, and I'll sue you." He hung up. I locked down my credit, reported the fraud, and sent him a text, "You're done." Mom called, yelling that I was destroying Ethan's future. I said, "He destroyed mine when he let you ditch me." She slammed the phone down. I started locking everything down tighter. I took my name off every shared account, bank, utilities, even the family's streaming subscriptions. I changed the password on the storage unit again and told them to pick up their stuff or lose it. Mom sent a long text about how I was erasing the family. I replied, "You erased me first." Lily tried to guilt me, saying the twins were asking about me. I said, "Tell them the truth about why I'm gone." Ethan showed up at my work, yelling in the parking lot. My boss threatened to call security, and he left. I wasn't just saying no anymore. I was making them face their choices. I stopped showing up to anything, even distant cousins' weddings. Family friends started asking why I wasn't around. Mom made excuses, but people saw through it. Ethan's engagement party was a flop because I didn't show up to help. Lily's friends ditched her after I told them how she treated me. The twins stopped mentioning me in their school projects. They were stuck with each other, no one to lean on. This was it, the moment I knew I had to go all in. The cabin was my leverage, and I wasn't signing anything. They thought they could keep pushing, but I was ready to make them feel what it's like to lose something they couldn't get back. The next move was gonna hurt, and I was ready to play it. Keep listening. This is about to get real. I'm Caleb, and if you've been with me this long, you know I wasn't just cutting my family off. I was making sure Mom, Dad, Ethan, Lily, and the twins understood what it feels like to be left out in the cold, like I was that Christmas at 15. They kept trying to pull me back in, but I was done being their fixer. This chapter's about the big move I made to flip the script for good, using the one thing they couldn't ignore. It was cold, but it was fair. The cabin was the key. My grandparents left it to all the kids, me, Ethan, Lily, Noah, and Emma, in their will. It was the last valuable thing the family had, and Mom, Deborah, was desperate to sell it to dig herself out of debt. She needed my signature, and I wasn't giving it. She sent emails, called, even got that cheap lawyer to spam me with urgent letters. I ignored them all. Ethan left voicemails, saying I was destroying Mom's health. Lily texted, crying about how the family was falling apart. Dad, Robert, sent another letter, begging me to do the right thing. I tossed it in the trash. I started digging. I pulled out every document I had, deeds, emails, old texts. The cabin was legally tied to all of us, but I had equal say. I called a lawyer, not some online hack, a real one, and found out I could block the sale or even force my own terms. I wasn't planning to sell, but I wanted them to sweat. I locked down every shared asset I could touch. I took my name off the family's phone plan, canceled my part of the storage unit, and even pulled my stuff from the old shed at Mom's house. I sent them a text. Anything with my name on it is mine now. Deal with it. The group chat exploded. Mom called me a traitor. Ethan said I was stealing their future. Lily begged me to stop, saying the twins were scared. I replied, "Welcome to my world at 15. Mom tried to play nice, sending a text, "Caleb, let's talk. You're still my son." I shot back, "Only when you need something." She called, yelling that I was heartless. I hung up. Ethan showed up at my apartment again, pounding on the door, saying I was killing Mom. I opened it, looked him in the eye, and said, "Leave, or I'm calling the cops." He pushed me. I shoved him back. He stormed off, cursing. I didn't stop there. I contacted the county about the cabin's taxes, which Mom hadn't paid in years. I told them to send all bills to her address, not mine. She got hit with a huge back tax notice and lost it, texting me that I was ruining her life. I replied, "You ruined mine first." Lily tried to mediate, calling to say she'd sign over her share if I just talk. I said, "No deal. You picked your side." Dad sent an email, saying I was tearing the family apart. I didn't respond. The lawyer kept emailing, saying the sale couldn't move forward without me. I replied, "Not signing. Not helping." Mom tried one last time, leaving a voicemail. "I'm sorry you're so angry, Caleb. I forgive you." I laughed out loud. Forgive me? For what? I saved the message, just to remind myself how twisted she was. Ethan sent a photo of Mom crying, captioned, "This is on you." I texted back. She cried when she left me alone. "Where were you?" He blocked me. Then I made my big play. I told the lawyer I'd only sign if they paid me my full share up front, cash, no promises. The cabin was worth enough to cover their debts, but they'd have to scramble to buy me out. Mom called, screaming that I was blackmailing her. I said, "Call it what you want. Pay or lose it." Ethan texted, begging me to stop. Lily called, crying. I muted them all. They had 30 days to come up with the money, or I'd force a partition sale, splitting the property and tanking its value. The fallout was instant. Mom's friends stopped talking to her after I told them the truth about that Christmas. Ethan's fiancée called off their engagement, saying she couldn't deal with the drama. Lily's social media went silent. Her friends bailed when they heard how she treated me. The twins sent me a letter, saying they missed me. I didn't reply. They were stuck with Mom's mess now. This wasn't the end, but it was close. I had one final move to make sure they'd never forget what they did. They thought they could keep me on a leash, but I was about to cut it for good. Stay with me, the last chapter is where it all comes together. I'm Caleb, and this is where my story wraps up. That Christmas at 15, when Mom, Dad, Ethan, Lily, and the twins left me behind, changed everything. I spent years making sure they felt the same kind of rejection they gave me, and the cabin fight was my biggest move. But this final chapter ain't about revenge. It's about me taking back my life, finding my own peace, and letting them deal with the mess they made. This is my Christmas on my terms. The cabin standoff hit them hard. Mom, Deborah, was desperate to sell it to pay off her debts, but I held firm. Pay me my share up front, or I'd force a partition sale and ruin the deal. She had 30 days. Ethan sent frantic texts, saying Mom wasn't eating, that I was destroying her. I replied, she destroyed me when she ditched me. Your turn. Lily called, sobbing, saying the twins were asking why I hated them. I said, tell them the truth about that Christmas. Dad, Robert, sent a long email, begging me to reconsider for the family's sake. I didn't respond. They scrambled. Mom sold her car, Ethan pawned his guitar, and Lily got a second job. They came up with my share barely. I got a cashier's check, signed the papers, and walked away with enough to start fresh. The cabin sold, but they barely cleared their debts. Mom called, saying I'd stolen their future. I said, you stole mine first. She hung up. Ethan texted, calling me a traitor. I blocked him. Lily sent a letter, saying she was sorry. I didn't reply. The twins didn't reach out, and I didn't expect them to. I used the money to build my own life. I moved to a new city, got a better job, and rented a small house with a yard. I started hanging out with friends who actually cared, Mike and his crew, who never asked me for anything but a beer and a laugh. I didn't miss my family. People always say you'll regret cutting them off. Nah, I regretted staying as long as I did. Every time I saw a Christmas post online, I thought about that week alone, eating cereal, and I knew I'd made the right call. Mom tried reaching out a few months later, sending a text about starting over. I didn't respond. Ethan got married, didn't invite me. I didn't care. Lily moved away, sent me a friend request. I ignored it. The twins were in high school now, and I heard they were doing okay. I hoped they'd grow up better than the rest, but I wasn't holding my breath. I changed my number, locked down my socials, and made sure they couldn't find me. The real turning point came last Christmas. I was alone, but not lonely. I cooked a steak, watched a movie, and called Mike to shoot the breeze. No cold cereal, no empty house, no waiting for a call that had never come. I realized I'd built something better than what I'd lost, a life where I wasn't the extra, the backup, or the afterthought. I was the main character now. Then I got a package. It was from Aunt June, Mom's sister, who'd heard my side through the grapevine. Inside was a photo of me and my grandparents at the cabin, smiling, from before everything went wrong. A note said, they'd be proud of you, Caleb. I framed it, hung it on my wall. It wasn't about family, it was about knowing I was enough. Mom and the others? They're still out there, probably blaming me for their problems. I don't care. They got their Christmas without me, and I got mine without them. People might say family's everything, but sometimes family's just the people who show you who they are. Mine showed me I didn't need them. I'm not eating cold cereal anymore. I'm eating steak, living my way, and I ain't looking back. That's my story. I took the hurt, turned it into strength, and built a life they can't touch. If you're out there, feeling like the odd one out, know this. You don't need a seat at a table that doesn't want you. Make your own. Mine's got room for the people who matter, and it's the best Christmas I've ever had.